Hey, America, this one is for you only. And the interconnected web, interweb, interconnected device. This is Bruno Guichard, Simone Anguille in the reggae world, et Robinson Coquelet. And if it ends up on Facebook, the usual thing, it's my opinion based on my experience only, and to educate and elevate. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, a seeker of truth. I'm not affiliated with any organization. I believe in Jesus. In contract, life is contract between us and God, and contract between ourselves under God. I'm a businessman. Uh, Also, I believe that I do this for the glory of God. All this is copyrighted ultimately for Bruno Simone Anguille, Simone Consulting, I also for the collective and humanity to create a better world, a real better world. So, and, you know, um, for God's glory, this is all for God's glory, and I'm not being paid to say anything. Um, so, somebody said, what is wrong with America? Or what's going on with America? This is today, this is the night before President's Day, so whatever that day is, in February 2025. And I want to say that I'm 57 years old, I'm divorced, I have four beautiful American children. Um, I did get married initially with someone that I love, but also by necessity. To stay in America, I needed a green card. We had four kids. I was married over 30 plus years. Happy most of these years. Um, but anyway, a lot of things happen. Life. I'm blessed with four children. I love America. I came here because I believe in the American dream. Um, since I've been in America, let's put it that way, I had many things come against me, both from my own family and from the circumstances. It seemed like in America, I did work in corporate. I did generate over $50 million directly or indirectly, if not more, in the revenue for American companies. Paid my taxes. So you know what? I'm honest, and I've told you in my Facebook videos, whatever I did, I'm still a sinner. I believe in Jesus Christ. So every day I know that I know nothing. Uh, I only know what I've experienced in my life, the suffering. I just know that even as a upper middle class with four children and a wife not working off and on, after paying taxes and everything, I never felt like I was in the upper echelon. And I felt over the last 30 plus years that I've been making less and less money. I never really had good credit because I was always working paycheck to paycheck. Americans, to get ahead, had to have two family member, husband and wife, working full time and relying on other people to raise their children. Although I didn't necessarily do that, for one reason or another, my children were raised either by the TV or video games or other people, or my oldest child raised my youngest one. We did the best. I worked my ass off and didn't feel like, or do not feel like I really had that much quality time with my children or even my friend or my family. When I did that, it seemed like there was other factor, but anyway. It took away a lot of my potential joy in life. I still believe in the American dream, but I believe that for the last 30 plus years, be it in America or in Europe or around the world, and I would say for over almost 100 years, since the end of the First War, we haven't seen true capitalism. We haven't seen true progress for the people. So be it socialism, communism, or capitalism, the way we've applied capitalism in America is not real capitalism. Number one thing that is wrong. When I first came in the 80s in Texas, there were still opportunities. It was at the end of it, but there were still opportunities. Backyard without fences, people sharing in a spirit of communal living, a true American spirit of innovation and the conquering of the West. Obviously, there's a lot of issues, mainly not taking care of certain racial or society inequalities, not a real dialogue with a bi-party only, but all of that still provided some dialogue. But it seems like things have been getting worse. I work in tech, and with the advent of technology, it seemed like the divide kept on increasing. It seemed like technology has been used, and I know now it has been used against men and women, American people. Number two, that is wrong. We developed in Europe, in America, and around the world, a society where the power is in the hands of the few. And they've blended it so well, they are pretending to be pro-democracy, pro the people, and it is a lie. Third thing that's wrong with America and the rest of the world by this case. Now, the freedom of religion also disappeared in America. When I first started, it was in schools, and now it's only in the court. Very ironical when, fourth, the courts are not serving the people, but they lie to our face that they are. And so the fifth is that we've become a very legalistic society, America and the rest of the world, and it only serves the rich and the super wealthy. And it seems like the wealthy, if they are criminal, are not being pursued for justice. And, I felt like Americans were not reacting. I never wanted to get my American passport because I was always thinking, why? I mean, I stayed, my kids are American, I'm responsible for them, so I stayed here, of course. But to become an American citizen, I wanted to see what American wanted to become or to do, and never being satisfied with my answers. At the last election, I thought, and I still think, that American wants that kind of change. So I believe in Americans. Americans. I believe in the current system, and I'm waiting to see what they're doing. But at this moment in time, it seems like they're trying to do still a lot of things for big data, big pharma. But you know what? I'm going to kind of wait and see. So that part is neutral in my heart at this moment in time. But they still came against France, which being French African, and also they went after Africa. So they want America, or the people that are in power, want to use land and resources and people from outside America. They want them to consume American product, but they don't want to Well, they've been paying for a lot for a long time, but also controlling everything. So let's not be stupid. I mean, America has benefited from all that by natural resources. If you have landed 100 million, you've received over billions and billions in natural resources. And that's the old system. Most companies that are doing good in the country is you loan and you try to help our American companies. And usually it's less than 10% of the money that you loan that actually get to the people outside of America. So you've done the same as the French or the European or the German, Italian, Russian, Chinese, exactly the same. It benefits your own country, and I think everybody does the same. So I'm not going to claim or say that we are any different. I'm not an hypocrite that way. However, the class struggle has been happening both in America since the end of the First World. Since the 50s, Americans have seen a decline in their income, net income, a decline in the services because, yeah, big administration take a lot of money. A lot of people are corrupted. So I do agree with some of what President Trump is doing. But benefit net net is trying to fix an old broken system for the benefit of big data, building bigger data center. So, at this moment in time, until you put people that are neutral from the American people of minorities, and I know you are doing so, but not enough. It seemed like it forces a few people against each other, and we really need to have a balanced approach, President Trump. And the same with the European. You should have people from European countries on your council to advise you, not just American. Try to think they know the European or African or other countries' problems. If you want real dialogue and real progress, you need to have people from those countries neutral, not on your paycheck, that are able to also provide you with some feedback and provide the other countries with feedback as well. So I think you need to invest in people that way. I mean, I understand you do what you do as a politician, a leader of America. You do what you want. You're the press. But when you talk about people from Mexico, you should have a neutral person from Mexico that is not from your party or your government that would be a go-between, that would represent the Mexican people, the indigenous people, the African people, and so on, French people, and so on. So that's all I'm saying, Mr. President. I will call you out when you're saying stuff that are stupid, and not calling France as one of the people on your peace talk is a big mistake. A big mistake. Under God, France is a God-fearing country that helped create America. I don't even need an American passport. My ancestors were probably signatory of the treaty and the creation of the United States. French people do not need an American passport. As noble citizens of France, we have a free walk and the right to be in America anytime we want. We help create this nation. And I will look you up straight up in the eyes and tell you so. You will not exist without France. So if we lack the respect for each other, Mr. President, this is the end of the world as we know it. So there's nothing wrong with American people. There's something wrong with we are disrespecting everybody else right now. So yeah, kick out all the nasty bastards that are causing crime. I have no problem with that. But don't only take the side of the rich, the data billionaire, the pharma that didn't allow me to have more than $3,000 a year in health benefit, and I was paying for 4 children, a wife, and housing and living costs. After making $100 to $200,000, I had less than half of that after taxes and all the bills that I had to pay. So yeah, insurance benefit was important to me, you know, with kids and everything. And having that little, when it only takes, what, $15,000 now to get a full implant for your mouth, you don't even provide that to your citizen. That's the kind of thing that doesn't make sense, Mr. President. So I know you're not responsible for the past, but right now, Americans are feeling like you're taking away every safety net they have. It looks like the pain of the people in middle America is not being felt by their leader. You're taking away FEMA, the emergency system, everything, Social Security. I mean, you have to provide some form of safety for American people. The veterans are feeling abandoned. Everybody's feeling abandoned. And so they're knowing, we know we need to help ourselves, but Mr. President, how are they going to do it? Just, just being honest there. It seems like you're going full speed ahead without the people having even a chance to react. It seems like you're trying to become a dictator instead of a unifier. I'm just letting you know. And being an outsider, I can be kicked out by any time. So go ahead, kick me out. I've been monitored. You probably are listening to everything I say. But I'm not the only one, and people are loving this country. But even people that supported you are now asking questions, and maybe you don't care. And if you don't care, under God, by God's grace, well, I'll pray that I'll be taken one way or another. I don't give a fuck. But I just pray that if you're not listening to God, you know what? I believe. However, I pray for American people. I'm saying because of American people, I believe you need the help of people like myself that are calling for peace, that are not that stupid. Actually, they have a lot of experience by God's grace, and that are able to represent a lot of different people from different culture. So I'm just asking you, Mr. Press, are we going to go the way of ending the world one way or another, or are we going to go, because I don't believe in your peace, I believe all that stuff was premeditated. And people can see the signs on the wall. So are we going in that direction? You're going to keep on going that direction? Or are we really going to have a dialogue? If so, then please show it to us. That people are not in your cabinet, not part of your government, independent consultant that will be talked and listened to and be an in-between other countries. I don't believe that President Macron represents the French people right now. You know, some other states represent their people, some do not. In Europe, perfectly right, calling a black cat a black cat. But there's other faction, there's other people that could brought up to the table. So you shook up you rattled the cages, provide for something to show that you mean peace and you don't mean total destruction of this world. when you're talking only to the Russian and the Chinese, that's a big joke. It's a big joke. You're not even talking to the African. You're like, are you serious? You're gonna take away Africa and Europe and some of the Latin America countries that you don't even consider. That's over 3 billion people, huge market of consumption, and you're telling me you're not even willing to talk to into the other sex. So I know you're not serious. I know you're just blazing right now. Your style. I do like your style sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. I love it. But some of the time, it doesn't seem like you're completely thinking about everything. So please provide us with an international type of the same thing I asked to France and to each country in Africa. We need to have an in-between person to talk to that's independent, that can put everybody together. We need a brand new deal, and it doesn't seem like you have everything thought out outside of just the United States. And even for the United States, you're not providing. Right now, we have a huge crisis in the middle of the country. Over 60-50% of the country is not taken care of. A huge amount of America, land and people, is not taken care of. So are you here just for the wealthy American, or are you representing all the American people? That's the last thing that I have about America. So I said I'm staying. Like a diplomatic passport, please. I am not bullshitting. I'm not staying without a diplomatic passport from all 3 continents I represent. That's the way I roll. I don't care about Rolls Royce. Just give me one of those American SUVs. That would be great. Simple ranch somewhere with some cattle in. Yeah, I'll pay for that myself. Don't worry about that. I'm just joking. But the diplomatic passport, yes. I should not have to ask for a U.S. passport since my ancestor probably died for this country. I should be given a diplomatic passport. Or whatever you want to call it. A for-life passport. Because if our genealogy proved that we bled for this country, we should not ask for this country anything. This country should ask of us to represent it, to be proud to have founded and be a part of the founding of this country, America, and I am proud of it. I am very proud of it. America is the shining light, and so was France before it became bullshit. And so is every African country because they were independent kingdom before they became slaves or colony. So I'm just asking for us to respect our ancestors, our common ancestors, the indigenous people that were here before the colonists became Americans. So call it however you want. An indigenous people, embassy or whatever you want to call it. We can talk about it, but they have to be represented. You can't push them on the curve again and again forever and ever. That's not acceptable. And they are too big now, economically, to be put back on the reservation. That's bullshit. Africa is over 1.5 billion people of the youngest population, the most economically resourceful. You cannot disrespect Africa, neither. America needs other people to sell to buy. I mean, it's okay. America can stand on its own for only a few decades. After a while, we need each other. And if you don't mix with other people, you know what happened to cousins that married each other, right? That's kind of the feel vibe we don't want to have. The world is a beautiful thing, Mr. President. Your wife, your children are mixed, if I understand. Anyway, made my point. You love people from around the world. I know that. So I'm not talking to somebody that's not cultured. I haven't traveled all over the world, dealt with people from all over the world. You're an entrepreneur. I believe your instinct. I believe you know. I'm just asking you to consider it a little bit more and show it to us. Thank you very much, American people. Sorry I was a little long. I hope this brings the glory to God. God bless America. In Jesus' only name I pray that you hear the right words. If I say something stupid, I ask you to forgive me. In Jesus' holy name, au nom du Seigneur Tout-Puissant, au nom de Jésus, je vous remercie. Amen. Alléluia. Bye-bye.